People are persuading and influencing each other all the time. It could be trying to get your kids to pick up after themselves, or convincing your spouse to try a new restaurant, or getting your patient to exercise more, or giving advice on which college to go to a young person that you work with or your kids. And so many people feel so gross when it comes to persuading others because they think it's about trying to get people to do something that they don't want to do, or that kind of like slimy, like car salesperson. But truthfully, influencing is just another form of feeling in community. Start your week great. Start your week with a coach. I'm your host, certified high performance coach, Sean Butner, and we're going to talk about something that'll help you advance in your life this week. So let's go. And what do I mean by that? It's that, most people, when you ask them who are the 3 most influential people in your life, they'll probably list family members, or they'll list close friends, maybe some mentors that they developed, relationships with over their lives. And, in high school, your friends tend to be a huge amount of that influencing factor in your life, and vice versa. And because a lot of times with family and friends, it's all about proximity. We know that from sociology. And, the people you spend the most amount of time with are the people that tend to influence you the most. And for introverts, even more so, the types of folks like me who tend to really want to have high quality conversations, or, open up to people when they're a little bit more comfortable. Having those close family and friend relationships are highly important. And also, that sense of working things through together. And so it's so important to be cultivating that all the time. So if we're talking about influence, we're talking about why it's important. Like for me, why do I do these videos that you're here watching? It's because I'm trying to influence you to be a higher performer, right? Because I'm a high performance coach. That's my job, is to push you into your full potential, push you into beating whatever normal in your life, so that you can consistently improve without burning out, without hurting your health and relationships. And I love doing that work, right? So I have that passion behind it. I have that good intention behind it. And for the folks that are ready for a life transformation, a work transformation, I can help them with the high performance process, reach that higher level of performance, of effectiveness, of feeling confident, feeling joyful, feeling present in their lives, that, high performance aims to get you. So if, again, we take a look at those top 3 people that have really been influential in your lives, who would they be? Take a quick minute right here to really brainstorm, like, who really did, inspire how you think about things, or challenged you to be your best, or showed you the way. Because I'd imagine if, after you take this list, you would find that all 3 of those components are common in how you view the most influential people in your life, right? And so, and we use this in our persuasion model when we talk about high performance coaching, because, when you're teaching someone how to think, if you're thinking teachers, professors, parents, mentors, you're thinking coaches, a lot of times can help show us how to see the world, right? It's, I think, why a lot of times science is such an important thing, because it shifts how you think about the world. You have understanding on the rules and how things operate in the natural world, and that can be really helpful. But, it's also why I think authors, or, a lot of times cultural things really inform us on how we show up in the world. But that's probably another topic for another time. But, so it's important when you're thinking about the people that you influence in your life, because, like I said, it influences a community. It's a feeling of being in community. When you can give your best friend some good advice when you're walking out at the golf course in high school or whatever, that means something, right? And it's building those relationships that kind of make life fun and exciting and have that extra spice. So when you tell people how to think, it's not like think like this or not like this. It's also with this caveat of you're exploring it from a perspective. And the more perspectives you can take a look at an argument from or a situation from, the more influential you're going to be, right? So from my life, there was years ago, I had a friend who was talking about his dad and how he found out that when he was really young that his dad had like cheated on his mom, which is a really big thing. And he was really upset about it, even though it had happened years and years and years ago, which is awesome. Not awesome, but and he's like, I don't even know how to think through this. And so there's when we were talking about it, I remember going through there's this lens of what happened was bad, right? So that is one way, and morally, spiritually, there's a lot of different angles on why that's bad. On a perspective of what was good about it is that was a very vulnerable thing for his dad to share with him, and he's like he trusts you, and he had this thing he wanted to share with you, and it's because he's probably not really proud of that, but it's also he's building that relation. He reached out because he thought he could handle it, and it was hey, all my cards are on the table, I'm vulnerable, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And that little caveat kind of helped him think through that, even though he was really disappointed and hurt and all those other feelings. But coming up with those other perspectives can be really, really impactful on what was the intention behind that particular situation or any situation, or what are some objective perspectives that I could look at this from that might give me a little bit different insight or make me feel a little bit more okay, right? Or find a little bit more nuance. I think that's really, really important. So teach people how to think by exploring perspectives and different perspectives and being that kind of objective person who can say, okay, yeah, that's really emotionally packed, but have you thought of it from this angle? Or what are some other ways that this could really factor into? It's really good. So second thing that, people in our community should be doing more, especially if you want that influence and that feeling of being in community, is challenging us, right? It's no coincidence that when you take a look at NFL players, they tend to be in clumps, right? So they went to the same high schools, or, there's usually less than 1% of the population in the US goes into the NFL. But when you take a look at, where people actually come from, you'll find that 4 or 5 will come from the same high school and the same type of year. And part of that is, when you work hard, you inspire, and that's a little bit more role modeling. But I also think that when you see that somebody can do it, you have more resolve to see it through. But they also challenge you, right? So if someone can run a under 3-minute mile, and you see how hard they're working, and you're like, okay, I need to level up. I can probably, instead of taking this next couple of days off because I feel like I need rest, I know if I push myself like them, if I challenge myself like them, then I will step up. And so I think, in relationships, it's, my parents always telling me and my brother to, whatever you do, just do your best, right? And if your best is at school a C, that's fine, right? It's not the end of the world. As long as you tried your hardest, right? You'll learn more trying to push the edge of your skills than just trying to coast, right? And that is something that served me really well in my tech career. I served my brother really well in his career, and in life in general, I'd say. But it's that challenge and the challenge there was always do your best. And there are times that I did not want to do my best, or I was like, this is a lot. But you step up when you need to step up. You step up when somebody issues that to you. So, who has challenged you in the last week, in the last month, in a way that you responded, not because there's people that are bullies, I guess is another way to do it if you go overboard. But, that have been hey, you could have done better there. Come on, step up. and that kind of like cheerleading and challenging role. I think that's really important. And the third thing is, role modeling the way, right? If, like I said in the NFL example, if you see someone that is the best on the team and you want to be the best on the team, that's going to help you rise up to the challenge. But you're also going to be noticing what they're doing differently from everyone else. So, and I think this one is lost a lot. It's really important. It's one of my favorite ones because as we've done the pandemic for the last 2 years, people have really lost patience with one another. People forget that how you treat other people out in the world, like that's influencing your kids. It's influencing your spouse. It's influencing your friends. And, when you get cruddy with people for petty things, it makes you look kind of bad, number one. But number two, you're not role modeling like that calm, collected, just being kind and realizing other people's humanity out in the world. You think it's like a tech thing, just a screen, and there's no repercussions for what you say or what you do. And often there are. But more importantly, you're showing and teaching other people how to be in the world. And so that's I'll get off my soapbox on that. But, here's a better question for you. Like, who do you need to be on your A game for in your life? And how are you modeling that? Have you ever thought about it that way? Like, I love this question because, who do you need to step up for and, really exemplify how to behave to other human beings, how to, be around other human beings, how to communicate, how to, live your life. And what are you do? How are you actually showing up in your life? And if that does not get you to really be thinking about, like, I could have been nicer to the waitress, or I could have been nicer to my wife, and the kids will now respond in kind, because that's an easy example. I think that's a really powerful thing. So, when we realize that most people have these three things in common, coupled with the idea that influence is this idea of being in community with one another, because as much as, you get influenced by these three topics that I shared, from the science, being able to do that with others too is really going to help you feel connected. It's going to help you feel excited for the future. It's going to help you, really amplify the good that you put out in the world, right? Whether like you're using these with people at work or at home in your family or in your friend groups or whatnot, because ultimately too, like as an introvert, our superpower is engaging one-on-one with folks or in small groups, to lead more effectively. And, when we can lead more effectively, we are growing our tribe, we're growing our community. And that's such a basic thing that people need. So be in community, be influencing other people, think about how you get influenced by other people. Do it for good and not evil, of course. And I hope that you liked the end of the High Performing Introvert series. Real quick before I go, if you are looking to really break through in your life, whether career-wise, you have something in your life you want to transform and you feel stuck, right? You don't know what the next steps are. You don't know really how to, keep motivated or disciplined, or maybe you have some mindsets that really aren't helping you reach that next level. I encourage you that below this video in the blog, there's a link to my 6 secrets for highly performing introverts. There's a video that'll give you 6 habits that are really helpful and actionable in that video. But more importantly, below on that page is an opportunity to apply for a 60-minute strategy session with me. And what that strategy session does after you fill out the application is, we get to focus in on a couple areas in your life that you'd love to transform or improve. And we come up with a plan for you that is actionable at the end of that. And then at the end of the call, if you liked the plan that we came up with, you think that we can work together, I think we can work together, so we both kind of meet on that. Then we go and we talk about coaching. But ultimately, that call is first and foremost about developing a plan for you to go out there and crush it, to transform, to grow, to get ahead, to get moving again, guys. So hope you take me up on that. just check the link below this video for the 6 secrets of highly performing introverts. Love to see you there. Love to serve you on that strategy call. And we'll be back next week with a new series of how to perform out in the world even more. So that said, this is Sean Butner signing off. Live with more joy, more personal growth, more impacting your communities. We'll see you next week.